Welcome to Crybaby Hill. This is the last day of Tulsa Tough. Again, my first time ever doing any of these races. So, starting at the back, as usual, a little bit farther up this time. There's might be 15, 20 people behind me. And first turn is this little right-hander into the hill. I'd never done this before. Not a lot of fans on the start-finish straight, but once you turn right up here, there's that little bump, and you can't quite see it on the camera, but it kind of G's you out at the very bottom, and then you lose momentum going up and into this hill here, and then that turn right-hander, good that they left the curb, and then it just opens up into this big old crowd, big old party, and the party gets bigger throughout the whole thing. It is awesome. Weird tactics going on for this race. I didn't know how I was going to race. Everybody was pretty fit. I think a lot of people like peak for this race. But I knew I was going to have to like save some energy on the climb every once in a while. Feeling a little bit tired from the heat, racing hard. But here we go into that corner. Noticed a little gap opening up. The curb was often left open, and we weren't going too fast into it most of the time. So you can make up some space. You see that Skyline guy made up even more space than I did. Must have come from farther back. And then into the last turn here. Pretty steep downhill. Obviously, if you go up, you got to come back down. So this is pretty steep right here. You can see everybody kind of waiting the back tire and super cautious through this last turn. There was a little pot or a manhole cover on the inside there, and a wide variety of approaches to that last turn, which you'll see a little bit later in the video. Some people were taking it better than others, more cautiously. All right, that's one lap done, and we're a little bit farther into the race. I'll have the timing up a little bit later, but there you can see on the left some guys already attacking on the start-finish straight. It would have plenty of lulls like this, but once you got to the hill, oftentimes it was fast. I think we might have had like 2 or 3 laps where we actually relaxed on the hill a little bit, but you had to choose your times wisely to sag climb it. Most of the time this is a breakaway from the times that I've seen it, like a break of 4 or 5 last year with Sam Boardman taking the win and some NCL teams into that little G out. Got a little compressed all the time. There are dudes who are just looking for holes to use their momentum through, and they are totally willing to like take your line out from you. So you got to be super careful of your front wheel. Speaking of, there I'm like going to the left there, trying to find holes. But there's just this kind of approach to these races where everybody's taking like the smallest gaps, which sometimes results in you bumping off people. But hoping this will tame down a little bit throughout the rest of the year once people are getting a little more tired. Chopping on the inside there. Sometimes if you took the inside of that corner halfway up Crybaby Hill, you would lose a lot of momentum like I just did, and then you have to use plenty of effort. You can see Corey, he got some good momentum up and through it and went to the front, sent a little dig. Guys, going for holes again. A lot of times these corners would just get bunched up when people were shooting the outside. You'd lose room on the inside. So a lot of times the outside was a little bit better spot to move up. And here we go, a little bit farther into the race. I've worked my way up to the front finally. There's a little breakaway. I think Clever Martinez was up there, and I knew it was pretty threatening. So I decided to do a bridge and did it right at the top of the hill. Got real close to him here, but I started to get kind of gassed at this point because that hill was pretty hard. And then into the last turn, I'm like super close to him now. They start hitting it again. Clever with an attack off the front of that group, and they just like kept a little gap to me, so I didn't quite get any rest into the base of Crybaby, but continued to motor on. Almost caught him here, and then the group had just gotten back onto us by the next lap. One of the work hard, be humble dudes, he had a ton of momentum from being in the group, not being off the front, and sent a little move. It was pretty well time to move. Claver knew it was a good time to go, and I was pretty cracked from chasing on for that full lap, so I couldn't hold on to Enterprise wheel, and just like slowly dangled off the back. Luckily, the rest of the pack was right behind me, a little strung out, and then that gap eventually closed. Here's coming into the Crybaby Hill, lost some space, and then I'm back at the front after doing a few sag climbs on Luke Lamperti's wheel, dog, and pretty happy with being here with half an hour to go in the race. Know we can watch out for stuff. There's a little break off the front at this point, I believe, and DCC up here is just going to try and pace it back nice and slow. But Ribble, these two guys here, are going to hit it on the climb every time, which is an interesting way to pull stuff back. It definitely puts the hurt on the bigger guys. Eventually, they got the break back. One of the DCC guys there overcooked that last corner and just had to like go straight into the barrier. And there we have, I think that's Para taking the hot inside line. Oh no, that's Alfredo. He took the hot inside line. It was a pretty good line though, and he actually had plenty of momentum to continue up to the front. There's only 10 minutes left in this race. I think the break has come back at this point, so everybody is trying to save as much energy as possible for the end. There's little single attacks like what just happened there. Who is that? Looks like a rider in blue. But everything would eventually just string out. People were pretty scared of that going. And here I am on Lucas Burgoyne's wheel, coming through the start-finish. 6 minutes to go. Back up Crybaby. Luke Lamperti's trying to not get swarmed, and he's just using the climb to put some pace in. I was pretty happy with 5 minutes to go to be like top 5 wheels here, top 10 wheels, and then the swarm would just like come over you. The last 6 minutes, we took the hill probably slower than any of the other laps. So being up at the front, you would just get hit by a swarm. Here I am trying to get around Connor, and I didn't realize that fence was coming in so fast, and Connor was moving over just a little bit, so lost a lot of room, but gave him a little chirp that I was on the left as soon as I realized that left was closing, and apologized for sending that little gap. Here with 3 minutes to go, like 2 laps to go, and I thought it was in great position, but all of a sudden, yeah, the swarm just like kind of comes over. I can't find a good space here. Should have jumped onto Claver's wheel right there, trying to save some energy, but dudes are just like jumping through gaps, and yeah, trying to find like a good spot to make up space. I thought the outside might be good here, but people were chopping the inside, so you couldn't quite keep momentum, and now you see we're just like super bunched up and going easy. Get pushed a little to the outside there on Evan McCork's wheel. Last lap here, and we're going up the hill. I'm like 15th, 20th wheel, which is not the spot I want to be into this last lap, because everybody's just going to sprint up the hill. So not going to make up a lot of positions. See, everybody's already like opening up their half measure sprint right now. I'm trying to make as far up as I possibly can, but there's not a lot of spaces to fill. So I'm just like looking for opportunities, try to take the outside here, but was trying to save a little bit for this little section, maybe shoot the gap on the outside, and just did not see an opening super well. So came around this corner pretty fast and into the downhill. I'm pretty gassed at this point. Paid for that bridge attempt before, and was trying to roll in the best I could, coming into the last corner and hoping nobody takes it too hot. Luke Lamperti there on the front with a few guys on his wheel. One of the Ribble dudes opened up his sprint pretty well and almost got Lamperti, but no granting. And I think in third, Lamperti with the win, and I think Lamperti took the overall for Tulsa Tough. I rolled in like 17th or 18th place, but pretty fun time at Crybaby Hill. Definitely learned some lessons, and hopefully we'll be back with a little less drama happening in these courses. Thanks for watching. See ya.